What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, Brian McIntyre, trainer of Terrence Bud Crawford, undefeated WBO welterweight superstar boxer, pound for pound king. Bo Mac had this to say about current unified welterweight superstar boxer Errol the True Spence Jr., which is the highly thought out and sought fight between Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. Could possibly be the biggest fight in the sport of boxing outside of Anthony Joshua, who's the unified British heavyweight world champion and undefeated Olympic bronze medalist, WBC world champion Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. So with that said, Bo Mac feels like, a fight between Terrence Bud Crawford and a fight between Errol Spence would be an easy fight. Bo Mac stated that, before the accident where Errol Spence just suffered, we know Errol Spence suffered a horrific car accident. Bo Mac said before the accident, Errol Spence was, the fight between Errol Spence and Terence Crawford was an 80-20 fight. He said now that after the accident, he said the fight between Terence Crawford and Errol Spence is a 90-10 fight, right? Which is, in my opinion, is disrespectful to Errol Spence and his accomplishments, right? Errol Spence defeated a four-division Mexican superstar boxer, Mikey Garcia, who was undefeated. Yes, he came up one weight class. I'm going to emphasize one weight class because I know people love to say that he came up two weight classes when he truly came up one weight class. He did not come up two weight classes. He fought out of his last five fights, 3 out of his last 5 fights were at 140 pounds, okay? So he came up one weight class, and this is who he was undefeated. This is who Errol Spence beat, and Mikey Garcia called out Errol Spence, right? Then Errol Spence went on. He beat the likes of a guy like Lamont Peterson, right, who was a tough fight, is a tough out for anybody, right? Then he beat Showtime Sean Porter, who's a 2-time welterweight world champion, a rough, rugged fighter, very difficult, very awkward, a very, very tough out, right? Sean Porter has never been blown out in any of his losses. He lost to Kell Brook and he lost to Keith one-time Thurman. Those fights could have easily been one round away from Sean Porter getting the decision, right? So Sean Porter's never been blown out in any fight. Errol Spence had a tough fight with Sean Porter, but he got the victory. He buzzed Sean Porter. He nearly knocked him out in the 11th round, and I think that proved to be the difference. With that said, a fight between Terence Crawford and Errol Spence would be it's a 50-50 fight, and it'd be a highly competitive fight. To say that it's an 80-20 before the accident, it's a 90-10 after the accident is utterly ridiculous in my opinion. Now, you guys know I'm a guy who always been saying that I believe that Terence Bud Crawford would beat Errol Spence. I think that he can make the necessary adjustments to be successful. He has the necessary tools to make the adjustments to beat Errol Spence. But to say that it's a 90-10, to say that it's an 80-20 fight, no, this fight that Terence Bud Crawford is having with Kavaluskas, the Mean Machine, that's an 80-20 fight. That's a 90-10 fight. The fight between Terence Crawford and Amir King Khan, at that point in time, that was a 70-30 fight. That was an 80-20 fight for Terence Crawford. But to say that Errol the True Spence Jr. in the biggest fight in the sport, laterally to, that of Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua, now I think that Deontay Wilder easily disposes Anthony Joshua because styles make fights. And Bo Mac could say the same thing, but in this case, Errol Spence doesn't show glaring weaknesses in his game. So to say that this is an 80-20 fight is utterly ridiculous in my opinion. I just feel like it's disrespectful to Errol Spence and his accomplishments. Errol Spence is a southpaw. He's a big, strong, strapping welterweight. Terence Crawford at this point in time has only defeated the likes of a Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn defeated Manny Pacquiao, but not most people feel like Jeff Horn won that fight. I know as of late, Terence Crawford feels like Jeff Horn won that fight. And I feel like Terence Crawford says that in part due to the fact that he wants to bolster his resume and his win over Jeff Horn. So, for him to say that Jeff Horn's won the fight against against Manny Pacquiao, says a lot about him because Manny Pacquiao struggled, went to decision. Terence Crawford stopped Jeff Horn. So, it makes his resume look that much better if he says that Jeff Horn actually beat Manny Pacquiao. Then You know, he fought Jose Benavidez, who's a tough out, a big welterweight, but he struggled in that fight with Jose Benavidez. Let's be honest, and I'm a big Terence Crawford fan. You know, I think that Terence Crawford is pound for pound number one fighter in the world. But I'm going to be honest, I'm going to keep it 100. You know, I think that Terence Crawford struggled with Jose Benavidez in the first part of that fight, even into the second half of that fight, right, until he made the necessary adjustments, right? So with that said, hold on one second. With that said, you know, I think that it's ridiculous to say that, you know, Errol Spence is such an easy fight, and then to say that, you know, after the accident, it's even an easier fight. You know, I feel like that's just, you know, not respecting the sport. It's not responsible for of Bomac to say such a thing, right? I just feel like it's just not responsible for him to say it's an easy fight. And when I say responsible, you know, it does the sport a disservice. If you're saying that you're discrediting Errol Spence, now that's your fighter, and you got to support your fighter, and you got to back your fighter, you know. So, but to say that, you know, it's an easy out, and it was an 80-20 fight, so it hurts the sport of boxing. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, I definitely think that it's a 50-50 fight. I would not be surprised if Errol Spence won. I would not be surprised if Terence Crawford won. Like I said, I picked Terence Crawford to make the necessary adjustments to be successful in the fight and beat Errol Spence. But, you know, to say it's a 80-20 fight, or to say it's a 90-10 fight now at this point in time after the accident is utterly ridiculous to me, in my opinion. And I think that Bomac and Terence Crawford are frustrated. Their frustration is spilling over, and you're starting to see it more and more with the fact that he's not properly promoted, point blank and period. And that's they have nobody to blame but themselves to look in the mirror. It seems like they have a bitterness towards Errol Spence due to the fact that Errol Spence gets a lot of hype and a lot of limelight, and that's due to the lateral moves that Errol Spence makes. Errol, like I said, Errol Spence fought Mikey Garcia, he fought Sean Porter, he fought Lamont Peterson in his last 4 fights. And Terence Crawford, last 4 fights, Terence Crawford fought Jose Benavidez, he fought Jeff Horn, he fought Amir Khan, now he's fighting the Mean Machine. Those are not notable names, so, you know, they feeling discredited, they feeling slighted, and this is the issue. This is where, you know, the disdain for Errol Spence is coming in, and this is where, you know, things like this is being said. I think it's a 50-50 fight, and I think it's utterly ridiculous for Bomac to say such a thing. But that's all I got for y'all, man. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hey, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shouts out to the entire LDBC. Shouts out to New Media. Shouts out to Black Media Roll. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.